Hi, Matt. It's a real treat to get to talk to you. I love the movie, and I apologize in advance. I got super sick this weekend, but I love the movie so much I didn't want to pass up the opportunity to talk to you.
Great. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't even imagine how much research you had to take on to finish this script. Were there any particular films or materials that you gave the actors to research in addition to the script itself?
I gave them a lot of the reporting. So I was actually able to track down an archive that has digitized all of the reporting from this newspaper, decades of print. So I was able to find all of the articles that they wrote about the Boston Strangler. And it was incredible just to be able to read both the details that they uncovered, but also kind of hear their voice as journalists. Um, and so I shared that with the cast, and I was able to introduce them to Loretta and Jean's kids to talk with them to get a personal sense of who these women were. Um, and then there were references like we looked at all the president's men, which was like they just, they photographed the newsroom so well. So, there were movies that we looked at for different reasons.
Now that actually leads me to my next question because it seemed to me like Zodiac was a pretty big influence on this movie. Because I don't just the nature of the way this is set up, it's very similar in the sense that they don't know for sure who the killers were. So, I think it's probably the best way to tell a story like this. What are some, and then you mentioned All the President's Men. Are there any other films that inspired you while you were writing the script?
I mean, those were the two big ones. I love journalism films, whether it's Good Night and Good Luck or All the President's Men. And then, of course, some of the true crime like Zodiac, um, and just looking at like other Fincher films just for camera direction and tone. He just is such a master. There's so much to learn from everything he does. And we really wanted to create this, a sort of neo noir, darker feel so that, the weight of these murders hung over every frame of the movie. And so, yeah, we looked at all sorts of things, but for sure, Fincher and some of my favorite journalism films as well.
Speaking of masters, I saw that Ridley Scott helped produce the film. Throughout the process, did you ever get any advice or feedback from him personally on the script or the film itself?
Yeah, Ridley is a hero of mine, and he and his producing partner at the time, Kevin Walsh, were very much mentors to me throughout this process. So, I was able to talk with Ridley about the film, and his producer, Kevin Walsh, who produced a film for us, was, he's just has so much experience. It was an incredible opportunity for me to get to learn from both of them.
That's so cool. I can't imagine how cool that must have been for you as a fellow film nerd. Now one thing I really love about the film is it does not glorify the killers at all. I mean, in fact, I feel like once you put a face on them, they're kind of sad and pathetic guys. When you see some of the criticism for something like Dahmer being disrespectful to the victims or the families, even though you're clearly trying to mitigate that as much as possible, is there still a concern that someone close to the case might be upset with you?
Yeah, of course. But, I think it was really important to us to be respectful of the victims and their families. And so, we went out of our way to not present any gratuitous depiction of violence. And in doing so, I think the depiction of some of these murders is equally, if not more horrifying than if we were to, show really graphic violence in many of these instances. So I think it was very important for us to be respectful, but it was also a cinematic choice in trying to, really horrify people and depict these murders in a terrifying way.
Yeah, I thought you did a great job. I mean, I'm not just blowing smoke. I thought it was really well done what you did, and I'm excited to see what you do in the future. Is there any
Thank you.
other sort of case that's caught your attention when it comes to these true crime stories that you'd like to maybe write another script for, or do you feel like after this you've got your fill of that, you'd prefer to move on to another genre?
I'm open, but I haven't found the next true crime story yet. And so yeah, no, I don't have the next one yet.
Okay. Well, in the press conference, one thing I thought was very interesting was you sort of mentioned how the Boston accent and how you thought it would be, less authentic for everybody to have the Boston accent. But were there any specific characters that you felt like it was vital for it? Like, I know we mentioned the detective. His name's escaping me at this moment in time. I'm sorry, but
Alessandro, yeah.
Yeah. Was there anybody else where you were like, these characters have to have Boston accents, but some of the other characters, it's not as important?
I thought it made sense. You could make an argument that the police officers, it would make sense for them to have Boston accents, and some of the sort of smaller supporting local actors that we were cast, I was willing to let them talk with their sort of natural Boston accents. But I didn't want people to be talking about the accents. I wanted them to be talking about the characters and the story.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Good job on your part. I was not distracted by any accents, so way to go, Matt. I know you're talking to a lot of people today, so I just want to thank you for your time, and I really did love the movie, and I appreciate this conversation. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.